Well, unfortunately there was no video last weekend. That's because I was busy addressing all the problems with this tractor. As you know, if you've watched any of my videos, the starter is kind of unhappy on it. It likes to kick out, crank it over, and then as soon as it fires once, the Mendix will kick out, and then I gotta wait for it to spin down before I can try to start it again. Also, when it does fire up, it tends to run on like 2, maybe 3 cylinders for a while, and then it finally kicks onto that 4th one. And obviously it's very loud because there's no muffler. What else is wrong with it? One of these wheels here, I can't remember which one, likes to clack back and forth because the axle and that unit are kind of wore out. Can't remember which one. It might be the left one. So it makes a little noise there, and there's a bunch of rust in the gas tank that keeps flaking off and clogging my fuel filter. Had to disconnect the fuel line, and I was able to get a good look at the filter, and the inside of the filter was plugged up, and it leaks gas out of the carb a little bit here and there, so I have to be careful with that. But I went ahead and I took care of the majority of the problems with this tractor. Yep, you guessed it. I just bought another tractor. Now this one here is in pretty decent shape. Obviously, we'll have to see if that tire is going to hold air. And these tires are a bit weather checked, but the ones on the other tractor are pretty good, so I can swap them out. And, you know, it's going to need the fluids gone through and everything, oil changed and whatnot, but it runs pretty good. It's got a muffler on it. I didn't see any rust coming out of the gas tank. That looked pretty clean. Obviously I couldn't see any rust in there because they painted the fuel bowl. Painted pretty much everything on this tractor, even the little jar up there. Relican restoration, but that's okay. Carburetor leaks a little bit. I'll have to address that. Spring for the brake is broke. It's no big deal. We can get another one of those. And when I picked it up, it was still a good old 6-volt system. And I didn't have any 6-volt batteries that were any good, so I just went ahead and nipped the line going to the generator there and slapped a 12-volt battery in it. Now it's a 12-volt system. At least that was good enough to get it off the trailer. I'll have to throw an alternator in there, get rid of that old 6-volt generator, and make that work. But otherwise, not too bad of a tractor. Starts up and runs good, and it's quiet with that muffler, so I think we'll go ahead and throw a battery in it and fire it up. And on a little bit warmer day, maybe this week, we'll take and wash all the dust off of it and see what we're working with. I'll have to change out this battery cable. She's not the best thing in town, but got the battery in it, got the gas on. Not leaking too bad at the moment, so let's fire it up. Seat's in a little better shape than mine. That's a good thing. I don't think I'll need the choke. Nope. Oh, good. Well, put it into gear and we'll start it now. See what it does. Apparently the clutch is a wee bit stuck. It wasn't stuck yesterday. Nice. Yeah. I know we're probably flooded. It's probably, oh yeah, look at that sucker leak. Only the finest for me. There we go. Clutch is just a little sticky. Yeah, it's still a little sticky. We'll turn it off there. Put her into gear. There we go. Now it's working. We'll just have to drive her around a little bit, I think. Get that to stop sticking. Work it loose. And it's not pouring out too much gas anymore. That's a good thing. Probably not getting too much gas. Yeah, it's a fine tractor. Yeah, as you can see, she leaks a bit. Turn the gas back off, and there we go. Oh, it should stop leaking. Yeah, turn it on. Yeah, no choke needed on this one. There we go. You have to remember to hit the brake. So she's got a few issues. I think we'll probably start with the carburetor here and get that fixed up so that it doesn't pour gas out of it, and I can run it a little bit, and then hopefully I'm driving it around, that clutch will stop sticking. Maybe it just needs an adjustment, I don't know, I'll have to look into it, but you get her running good, and then I'll go ahead and put an alternator on it so it actually charges the battery rather than running it dry. Do that little conversion to it, and then do all the little stuff, change oil, plugs, wires, all that stuff. And then yeah, I think she'll be a good tractor. But first things first, I gotta take her out, get the pressure washer out, and wash all this dust and cat piss off it, and then see where we are. See how it looks. I never had something so shiny. Well, I went ahead and grabbed the pressure washer and fired that up and blasted off most of the dust and the cat pee that I'm sure was there. I mean, looks a lot better. It's obviously not perfect. It had a rattle can special on it, but I don't really care about the paint so much. But at least it's clean enough to work on. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is probably pull that carburetor off. I'm thinking the float is sinking in there because if I turned it on now, it'd probably be fine, but after a while it'll start to pour out. So I'm thinking it's just the float sticking, but I won't know until I get it off. But we'll check that. The clutch still sticks. I think once I fix the carburetor, I'm just going to drive it around and see if that stops acting up. If not, then I'll have to figure something out. But I noticed when I drove it in, it had a little bit of a whine in the gear case there. So I pulled the plug, and you're not going to be able to see in there, but I flashed the light in there and I couldn't really see anything as far as lubricant goes. So I pulled the plug here, and I got a little bit to come out, which is good. No water in it, which is really good. So I think I'll probably just drain this and refill it with new stuff while I'm here. See if that whine goes away. Hopefully it will. And I also ordered up new ignition stuff. I got, you know, plugs, wires, cap, rotor, all that fun junk, and a 12-volt coil. All came in a little kit. And then I'll go ahead and throw an alternator on it. I bought one, just a little guy. We're gonna see if it fits on here. They have ones that are basically made to fit in here, but they're more money. So I bought the cheap little alternator. We'll see if we can make that work. And little plug wires are kind of cool looking, but I think they're gonna go. This one was cracked, so I replaced it with the one off the other tractor, and it worked a lot better. And then plugs got to go. Obviously, you can see they got they got painted when it was restored. And we'll go ahead and change the oil, all that fun stuff. One of these tires is flat. I'll put some air in it, see if it pumps up. Otherwise, I'll probably swap the other tractor tire off from the other tractor onto there. Yeah, we'll just go through it. Oh, and I got to get that that fuel bowl out of there and see what's going on. I think I have another one somewhere. I thought I saw one up here in the wall. I think I did. I think I did. Oh, there it is, behind my wrenches. See if that bowl maybe will fit on there, and that way we can see what we're doing with the gas. Anyway, tank looks pretty clean from what I saw, so hopefully that'll be alright. But we'll start working on it in another video, I think.